Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about none other than Philadelphia rapper PnB Rock. Now, this is wild because PnB Rock, it looks like he caught himself a case. Now, he's actually been sentenced in that case. This case involves, illicit substances, some weapons, all sorts of crazy stuff. Now, I know PnB Rock, he gets a reputation as a rap singer or a singer-rapper or whatnot, but it seems like he's really about that life. And you can tell if you listen to any of his interviews that he's about that life. And most cats from Philly are about that life, especially if they're in the industry, you know what I mean? But it looks like, man, he's facing some time. And what we're going to do is, man, before we get to the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, man, let's talk about this PnB Rock case, man. Now, my boy PnB Rock, and I don't know him personally or anything like that, so don't get that misconstrued, and I don't mean any disrespect, but it seems like, man, he's running into some trouble from a past case, man, and it looks like he was running them streets kind of wild. Now, let's go ahead to this report from Fox News, and I'm going to have to give credit where credit is due. I first seen this on my ticker from Vlad TV, but, man, the Fox News report gets deep down in there, so let's get to it, man. Now, the headline says it all. It says, PnB Rock pleads guilty in case involving drugs and stolen gun. Now, PnB Rock's mugshot, it looks crazy because obviously, man, he was rocking a different hairstyle back then. We'll get to that in a little bit. But it says this. It says, Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Philadelphia rapper PnB Rock has pled guilty in a case involving drugs and a stolen gun stemming from a 2019 arrest in Bensalem, authorities announced Tuesday. Rakeem Hassan Allen, who goes by the stage name PnB Rock, entered an open guilty plea to one count of possession with intent to deliver and one count of receiving stolen property. So I don't know what kind of deal he had going on here or what the situation was, because your initial impression would be, okay, PnB Rock, listening to the charges, he caught a one count possession charge with intent to deliver and a one count receiving stolen property charge. So obviously, he was either exchanging something for that stolen property he was receiving and then got caught in the act. And that's where you get the possession and the stolen property charge, you know what I'm saying, with the intent to deliver or whatnot. Now, PnB Rock, for all intents and purposes, man, in his music and stuff, he seems like a pretty laid-back dude, man. He doesn't seem like the type to be in them streets, but when you hear him talking interviews and stuff like that, you get a little bit of that off of him. You know what I'm saying? You get a little bit of that energy from him. Now, the story continues by saying Allen, 29 years old, was sentenced to 36 months of probation on each count. And the sentences are to run concurrently. So it looks like he got 36 months for each of those charges, and they're going to run concurrently. So the max time I'm thinking is he'll see like 36 months. So let's continue. He was also ordered to complete 100 hours of community service, and his supervision was permitted to be transferred to California. So it looks like PnB Rock must be staying in California. I ain't trying to, put his info out there, but according to what they're saying in this report, if he's going to do his community service over there and his supervised release or whatever, obviously he has a place of residence out there, you know what I mean? And this case, it dates back to 2019. So, his legal team probably been arguing back and forth with the DA or whoever to make sure that he gets a favorable deal, to make sure that he gets the best deal before he put in this guilty plea, you know what I'm saying? So PnB Rock, he definitely is probably getting some type of love in this situation, you know what I mean? Now, the story continues by saying this. It says, Allen was arrested back in January of 2019 after Bensalem Township investigators executed a search warrant at his apartment on Knaufel Street in Bensalem. Authorities say the warrant stemmed from an investigation that began in November 2018 after officers received a number of complaints of loud parties and a constant smell of an illicit substance coming from that apartment. And you know what substance that is. It's the one that's legal in some states and not legal in others. You know what I mean? So it looks like they were partying too hard at this residence, and that's where they started to, put eyes on, on PnB Rock back in November of 2018, man. So leading up to the arrest in January 2019. So that goes to show, man, the littlest things can set off these triggers to where you're on somebody's radar, man. Because if he's just partying, he's probably not even thinking about it. He's thinking he's annoying his neighbors or whatnot, but he's not thinking there's going to be any long-term repercussions from that. Little did he know, man, he was under somebody's radar. Now, the story finishes by saying this. It says, during their search, authorities say they discovered approximately 5 pounds of you-know-what, scales, packaging materials, and over $33,000 in cash in the apartment. They also found a .40 caliber Glock handgun that had been reported stolen. Now, I know hindsight is 2020, man, but why in the world would you be throwing wild parties when you got all that going on in the crib? Like, wouldn't you want to keep a low profile? Like, why would you be throwing wild parties or having loud music and loud noises and loud smells and all that, man, when you got all that going on? You got the weapon there, you got all that allegedly, right? That's wild, man. It's just not good planning. And obviously, man, he was living a little too wild for the situation. Like I said, 2020, hindsight is 2020. And basically anybody can say what they would have done in these situations, but it's wild to say the least. Now, the story says this. It says Allen was arrested along with somebody named Stephanie, and they pleaded guilty in 2019 to possession of controlled substance and was sentenced to 6 months probation. So it's looking like 6 months probation for her, and then for him, he caught the major charges. You know what I mean? He got the 36 months with 100 hours. Now, for PnB Rock, he's been kind of quiet, man. I'll keep it real, man. He's been real quiet on the scene. I think the biggest thing that I heard from him recently was the song that he dropped with OTF. He had like a joint song that he dropped with them because he had a song that he had dropped with King Von prior to him passing away. And I think he even has another King Von song in the tuck. But PnB Rock, for all intents and purposes, is a dope artist, man. Like those cats who can sing rap like that, or rap singers or whatever, man, they hard. You know, it's an interesting place. You know what I'm saying? Drake bust that door all the way open. And for the people who can really do that, man, it seems like they'll always have a career in hip hop. Now, as far as this case is concerned, it looks like he's going to be doing a majority of this time out in California. But regardless of all that, it seems like, you know, he pretty much got out of this situation with 36 months of probation, which means that PnB Rock just needs to keep his nose clean, dog. Like, stay out of trouble. Don't get in no more situations. Just make music and live in the studio, man. And I know that's easier said than done with rappers, because how many rappers have we seen that have actually, you know, broken their probation and had to actually do real time, man? Now, 36 months is 36 months. It's not a lifetime, but he's still relatively young dude, man. You know what I mean? And he's still kind of relatively popping. I don't know, man. I think PnB Rock, this is just another, you know, situation in his life, you know, that he's going to have to get past, a stepping stone, we'll call it. And then with that, that's all it'll be, man. Obviously, his lawyers did the work, because getting him those 36 months probation with 100 hours of community service is a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that, hold up. What do you guys think about this situation? I know I ran over those charges relatively quick, but what do you think about PnB Rock actually getting, you know, 36 months probation and not having to serve any time for the time being behind bars and having to do over 100 hours of community service? Is that a little too strict on him? Or do you think that, man, this was a great deal and it was smart for him to plead guilty with the charges that were levied against him? Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.